Hey guys, EdogPlays here, bringing you guys another video. Today is going to be Tap Titans 2 part 375. I hope you all are having an absolutely fantastic day. Today is going to be raid attacks. Kind of want to focus a little bit on the raid attacks, as well as kind of checking in on an event, because we are not nearing the end of it. I think we have just over I think we have 8 days remaining. I'll double check here in a second, but I think we have 8 days remaining, and I kind of want to show you the position that I'm in, because I'm really debating if I should go for top 10%, but we'll get into that in a second. Let's start off with the dailies. We're at 92,868, literally a couple stages, or like 100 stages away from max stage, or yeah, from our max. So we're gonna go and do a prestige. I have done a few runs since I switched back to Shadow Clone build. I was struggling to get to max stage, so I had to do a few runs. I did 2 runs, and then I did one what's called artifact optimizer, just to be able to get to max stage, to have decent run times, because it was abysmal. My run times were very, very long, and I only could get within like 200 stages of my max stage, even sitting here waiting a very long time. So I had to go and do an artifact optimizer, kind of reorganize some of my artifacts, because I was really slacking in terms of, getting to max stage, even let alone trying to pushing would have been extremely difficult, but just getting to max stage, even my run times were atrocious. If you take a look at the build here, this is the new build that I've kind of changed a couple things. We did have this to level 2. Oh, this is still level 2. I totally messed up on that. I didn't mean to go and get Dagger Storm to level 2, because from what people have told me, the only really levels that you should have, the Dagger Storm, Command Supremacy, and Volcanic Supremacy, is either 1, 6, 11, or 15. Those are the only 4, because that's when you get another stack. So obviously at level 1, you get to multicast that skill. At level 5, or at level 6, level 6 you get the second stack, and then at level 11 you get the third one, and level 15 it's maxed out. It's got everything, so you get 3, and then so 3 at level 11, plus obviously when you go have the set, you get the 4th one. So we're not quite there yet. That is kind of a short-term goal, though, to be honest with you. Get enough skill points to kind of rework everything. It is going to cost a lot to go from 6 to 11, though. That's what's kind of worrying me here. It's a big investment for sure, and I want to make sure it's going to pay off. So I invested the rest of our skill points. I think we put it into, actually, I can't remember if it was Phantom Vengeance or where I actually put the rest of our skill points in, because we had quite a few extra skill points, and I decided to put it in, or maybe it was even, yeah, I think it was Phantom Vengeance is where I went ahead and increased a little bit there, which is perfectly fine. We're doing quite well, to be honest with you. I'm pretty happy with this build at the moment. Like I said, I had to do a couple artifact optimizers to get it back to where it was before I switched to Heavenly Strike, but this is a really solid. It's a hybrid Shadow Clone, so it's a Shadow Clone Fairy hybrid build. The farm build was just, I couldn't get anywhere near my max stage, and the push build is just way too long of run times. So I find this to be a perfect in between for Shadow Clone. Still super AFK, still has decently quick run times. I think obviously it's a little bit different now that I need to get my artifacts in order, but before I switched, I think I was setting around 18-minute run time, so still about 4 minutes longer than the Heavenly Strike build. But I think even though it is a little bit longer, it's so much more AFK, even if you're doing mostly Shadow Clone, and then at the end Heavenly Strike, which I never actually got to use that much, because I didn't do enough artifact optimizers. So when I went and switched to the Heavenly Strike, it didn't work out as good as if I would have done a bunch more artifact optimizers. I couldn't really stick as Shadow Clone for very long, because obviously at the beginning. So normally what people do is they'll use the Shadow Clone slash up until about 1,000 stages away from their max stage. One thing as well, the build that I followed didn't have any Phantom Vengeance. So the Shadow Clone, obviously Phantom Vengeance increases Shadow Clone damage and Shadow Clone attacks per second. So we didn't have any of this. So it was kind of, I don't want to say unusable, but definitely a lot worse in terms of just getting to max stage than using the Heavenly Strike the entire way. A lot more AFK, but it was so much longer. It wasn't worth it. I think our best time using Heavenly Strike the entire time was about 12 minutes, and I think it saved us 2.5 minutes. I think using Shadow Clone was another, it was 14.5 minutes, I think, total. So definitely wasn't worth it. But now we know to use Heavenly Strike the entire time. It was more of a kind of give me the most amount of pushing potential as possible. I don't really care about how quick our run times or things like that. So there wasn't too many quality of life upgrades in there. I had to go and add I added actually onto the build See, where's it? I added a lot more mana siphon. I even added some fairy charm. That was another quality of life thing. And then angelic relics or radiance, that one I maxed out as well. And those weren't really part of the optimizers, but as far as I took them, it didn't really tell me to go that far, but I did to make it a little bit easier to use for sure. Let's go ahead and do our raid attack now. We did just start a brand new cycle here about 30 minutes ago. So we're going to go ahead and do our thriving plague hit. I already did do the optimizer or the simulation. We're aiming from 2.9 to 3.2 million damage. Honestly, I'm really missing the affliction chance buff that we had on the last couple raids. That was absolutely amazing. It went really well. Just phenomenal. We hit a 4 million damage thriving plague hit. It was just absolutely amazing. So here, you know, 2.9 to 3.2 isn't bad at all. And you know, it used to be our worst deck. You know, we used to be getting like 2 million, 2.6 million damage ever since the dust promo. All of our decks have seen a substantial increase in damage. It's absolutely crazy, and we should be hitting pretty soon. We should be hitting frequent 5 million damage totems, which is absolutely phenomenal there. So 2.8, I'm actually gonna go and reroll a couple times. The stacks were phenomenal there, but we can definitely get more than 2.8 out of this. I'll be right back. Okay guys, so this was only the second reroll, 3.17, actually getting fairly close to a max hit there. So we're definitely gonna go and submit that. That was actually perfect. Super happy about that. I thought I was gonna have to reroll a couple times. If you take a look at the debuffs and the buffs here, all body damage, so that didn't help us at all, and all limb damage, minus 20% all limb damage here on takedown. And it sucks because we're attacking obviously every single limb, so the debuff hit us fairly hard. I mean, it's definitely not the worst debuff we could have got there for sure, but the all body damage didn't help us whatsoever. So if I would have waited you know, until we opened a void or something like that, I could have did my void hit and my thriving plague hit, would have done so much more damage for sure. But you know, I'm not gonna go and wait because we need people to go and open up the void. So I'm gonna go and hold off for that. I'm actually gonna go and simulate a totem hit. I want to go and do a totem hit with you guys as well. Give me 1 second. Okay guys, so 4.8 to 5.3 million damage. This is absolutely insane. Like, we should be able to hit our very first 5 million damage totem here. I think I actually hit a 5.2 the other day, but I totally forgot to go and record it, or I wasn't recording at the time, so that's unfortunate. But I think the most that you guys have seen is 4.99. And I did actually get 4.99 earlier today as well. It was on a different Titan though. I think it was on the Sturl in this cycle. But we hit a 4.99, which is great. But I really want to go and hit a 5 mil on camera for you guys, because like I said, I don't think you guys saw the 5.2. I think it was 5.23 that I hit off camera. So hopefully we can go and do a 5 million damage here. Open up Flak fairly soon for the people that need to go and use it. 4.7. I'm gonna reroll a couple times here and try to get a little bit better damage. I'll be right back. Okay guys, I hate to do this, but I've been rerolling. I messed up the optimizer. I accidentally put I forgot to tell it to focus on one of the limbs, so it was, you know, planning on me doing the head or the torso, giving me more damage. So this is just over an average hit. Our average was 4.4, but I've literally been here for so long, so we're gonna go ahead and just submit this. I've literally been rerolling for the last 9.5 minutes there. We're gonna share that. Unfortunately, we hit such a good one. Well, we hit such a good one right off the bat. We hit like a 4.7. And if I would have put in the optimizer properly, I would have known that that was a perfect hit. That was a great hit. But unfortunately, I put it in wrong, and we had to submit just an over average hit. But it feels like most of the time, the very first hit, especially with totem, as long as obviously you don't miss one, but it feels like most of the time your very first hit is the one that does the most amount of damage. It's so weird, but it really does feel like that. You know, I sat there re-rolling and re-rolling and re-rolling, and our very first hit was way more, like 200,000 damage more than I ever got. So it absolutely sucks that I submitted a, you know, just above average when we hit a way above average hit, but not much I can do about it now. So we're going to collect all of our firestones and stuff like that. Unfortunately, we won't have too much time to talk about the vent percentage, but if it updates here soon, we're currently sitting at 24% with just under 10 days left. I am debating whether I should go for top 10%. I think it's doable. I think if I continue to do prestigious, maybe not so much focus on relics, but more focus on nice legendary drop, but more focus on getting the firestones. I think maybe that's a little bit more important right now than just focusing on getting relics, because as you guys know, getting relics right now isn't the main focus. Getting our Book of Shadows to a really high percentage isn't our main goal anymore. So if we can go and get a ton more Firestones, because we don't have to go to max stage every time, I think we're going to go ahead and do it. I think that's something that I'm going to go and try to do a little bit more. And then, so from now on, I'm going to go and try to do quick runs when I'm just kind of farming outside of tournaments. And then as soon as we get, you know, within 3-4 days, I'll make my final decision if I want to go hard and get top 10%, or if we're not close enough, I don't want to kind of back off. But we'll discuss that in a little bit. Guys, with that being said, I hope you have enjoyed another Top Titans 2 video. If you did, be sure to go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe so you guys don't miss any more daily content. I will catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace out.